There are only three types of meat. No, one is natural meat. It's the meat of animals that feed on natural pastures that humans have not intervened in growing, fertilizing, or irrigating. This species is rare and it is only available in a few countries that depend on abundant rain to grow natural grasses, such as some European countries and Brazil. No, two is grass-fed. This is the meat of animals that have been allowed to roam and graze on open pastures, but those pastures have been fertilized and irrigated by humans. So the grass grows faster and the animals gain weight faster. This is the most common type of meat, and it is usually much cheaper than the other two types. And then no, 3 is grain-fed. This is the meat of animals that have been fed grains like corn and soy instead of grass. This makes the meat very lean and high in omega-3 fatty acids. But it is also the most expensive type of meat because of the cost of feeding the animals grain. So, which one is the healthiest? Well, it depends on your definition of healthy. But in general, the less processed a food is, the more nutrients it will contain. So I'll let you draw your own conclusions. There are 3 types of meat: organic, free-range, and regular. Organic meat comes from animals that are fed on green or dry feed grown organically without the use of fertilizers or chemical pesticides. This type is also expensive and less available in Arab countries. Free-range meat is cheaper and more widely available. The animals are allowed to roam and graze, but they're not fed organic feed, so it's not as healthy as organic meat. And then we have regular meat, which is the cheapest and most widely available. But the quality varies. Sometimes it can be tough and chewy, other times it can be soft and juicy. It all depends on how the animal was raised and slaughtered. Personally, I avoid red meat and opt for poultry or fish, and I always try to buy local and organic whenever possible. What about you? What kind of meat do you eat and how often? Let me know in the comments. There are actually 4 different types of meat, and the first one is traditional meat. Now, this is the most widespread type of meat, and the animal that produces it feeds on green or dry fodder that was grown in the traditional way. This means that they use fertilizers and chemical pesticides. And sometimes, and I'm going to put this under the microscope, literally, sometimes they use veterinary drugs, antibiotics, or hormones. But not always. You see, there's a problem with that. The consumer doesn't really know what they're feeding the animal. They don't know how the animal was raised. They don't know if the animal was fed with antibiotics or not. They don't know if the animal had a chance to roam or not. And this lack of transparency and traceability is a huge issue in the food industry, but there are solutions. You see, there are apps now that allow you to scan a QR code on your meat and find out exactly where it came from, how it was raised, if it was fed with antibiotics or not. And that is a game changer for the consumer.